Hey, I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max Van.
And today we're going to talk about Max's experience with the SBS DS Series race brake pads during the SportbikeTrackGear.com Moto America Junior Cup Series. Okay, so last year we did 3 rounds. This year we're doing the whole series. What are we, 5 rounds through right now?
Yeah, I think so. 4 more to go.
Last year we used the Vesra ZZ pads, and you know what? They worked.
They were pretty good.
They worked pretty good. They definitely worked pretty good. And, you know, I would say that probably the biggest negative with those was...
They wore out super quick.
Yeah, you're just literally blowing right through them.
As I got faster and faster, it was maybe like a set a weekend or a set a day, so, you know.
It was a set a weekend. You were blowing right through the full set every weekend. You know, we talked to one of our partners, Vortex, and they brought on SBS pads for 2021. Mm-hmm. So we were talking to them during the off season. Some of the new pads, they have the DS series pads, right? Super high-end stuff. They're a little to the spendy side, but they swore they're like, this stuff lasts a lot longer.
They do.
So we tried.
They do, yeah.
We tried just the standard dual carbon, which is a good pad. You didn't really love that pad yourself. I know some other riders in Junior Cup really like it. I think Lamandra uses those pads. And then we went to the DS-1, which is the most aggressive initial bite and the most stopping power out of the line. Okay, now that you've been using the DS-1 pads all season, what do you think?
I think they're great. Like you said, they last a long time, which is super good for you guys. And the thing that I like about them the most is most brake pads, you know, you have to, the harder you squeeze in the lever, the more power you'll get out of them. With these, it's just the same right away. It's basically just, you know, just consistent.
So you don't have to get into the lever a lot harder to get big stopping power.
Nope.
So you feel like compared to what were you using before, you're using less lever pressure?
I feel like it's easier on the front end too. When
it's
you're
easier.
entering into a corner.
Easier to modulate the pads because you don't have to be so aggressive with the lever.
Yeah.
What I really appreciate as his, I don't know if I qualify as this, but crew chief, because I'm the only one who works on the bike. After every time he goes out, caliper comes off, you know, I get like some cleaner, I'm scrubbing the pistons, right? I'm measuring the pads, leading and trailing edge to see the thickness variation, because let's just say this is no racing caliper.
No.
That is a shitty little street bike caliper that is now asked to do something that it was never designed for. This was never designed for braking as hard as you guys are all braking out there. Not even close. So you really need to make sure that you're up on the maintenance. And the big thing to watch with these Ninjas when it comes to wear is the leading and trailing edge of the pads. I use a dial caliper to see how far out they are in terms of being perfectly square once they get to a certain point. And that's different for everybody, you know, and for a track day rider, I probably wouldn't even worry about that, to be honest with you. But, you know, racing at this level, that can make a difference. So what I found with these pads is, you know, going through the regular maintenance, as compared to what we were using, we went from new set of brake pads each weekend. We went almost... God, it was
almost
like
3 weekends, I think.
Pretty close. I mean, let's just say it was at least 2 full race weekends. And that included, it was VIR and Road America, I believe, where you went through the same set of pads, because the other one was COTA and then Road Atlanta. So that was used for basically 2. And then we used it part of VIR, and then at VIR for the races, you had new pads, and we used those same pads all the way through Road America. And we ended up replacing them for thickness variation and not for being worn all the way down. If we were racing, you know, doing some weird stuff, or we were doing track days, I actually saved a lot of these pads. Because for track days, we'll just throw them back in there and go ahead, and even with that little bit of uneven wear, you know, we'd go ahead and cash them out the rest of the way at the racetrack. Because every time I ask him when he comes in, you know, I like to talk about the bike. How's the bike handling? How's the grip? Blah, 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 blah. And one of the questions I always ask is about the brakes.
Yeah, if there's any brake fade, and there's never any. The hotter they are, the better they're going to work, of course, but that's basically it.
Also, when I service the system, you know, we're bleeding the brakes. I like to bleed the brakes before he rides the bike. I'll bleed them when we get to Brainerd, right? When we do the setup day on Wednesday. probably bleed them again before the races. I use the Moto2 RBF 600 fluid. The stuff is excellent, completely flush the system. I think that also makes a big difference. I think brakes, for most racers, they're one of the most important components of the entire bike.
Yeah, they sure are.
I would say with your riding, the strength of your riding is probably your braking ability. You're able to brake.
I'm able to brake. I can get on the brakes the same time as others. I just don't use the lever as much until I get, towards the apex. I feel like that's probably my weakest part, is dipping into the corner.
Yeah, well, you're getting there. You're learning a lot every weekend.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to try a new race pad, okay, we've got the stuff on the site now, obviously. These DS-1s, they're definitely worth a look. You're going to see the price. You're like, man, those are really expensive. I don't know that I want to spend that much. I get that. You should be able to easily get significantly more life out of these than you are the pads that you're currently using. Now, also, if you have a caliper where the pads from the inside to the outside are symmetrical, what you can do to balance out the whole, because all pads do this. They'll wear more on the leading edge than they do on the trailing edge. This just happens. What you can do is you can take and you can rotate the pads before it gets too extreme. So you take the outside pad and flip it with the inside pad, and it'll help balance that out. And then you can literally take these things down super duper close to the backing plate, all the way to the wear mark for sure, because he's never come in and been like, oh, the brakes, they're fading now. I don't have any power. They've really degraded. Even when they've been worn out and just uneven enough that I'm going to go ahead and replace them, given what we're doing. He's never said, oh, these things, they've degraded. I don't have any stopping power. And I think that says a lot about the product. They're worth giving a shot for sure.